vampire face. Happy Halloween! Today I decided to try out the most iconic of all vampire desserts, the apple cider donut. No? Okay, so this particular dish has never been remotely associated with Dracula or any other vampire. Not even Edward Cullen with his cinnamon sugar sparkles. Until today, because clearly I'm dressed as a vampire and I'll be the one making them. So vampires have always been one of my favorite legendary monsters and my go-to costume for Halloween. I wanted to try making apple cider donuts because, well, I had never even heard of them growing up in California. But here in Maryland, there are entire displays dedicated to this particular type of donut in the grocery stores. Apparently, they're a mainly New England tradition and a staple at apple orchards in the fall. I've never even had one, so I don't actually know what they taste like, but I figured I could change that easily enough by making my own from scratch. Now, apple cider donuts can be traced back, at least commercially, to the Donut Corporation of America, or the DCA, which was founded in the 1920s by a Russian immigrant named Adolf Levitt. And they went all out marketing donuts to the masses. They created National Donut Month in 1928, and even ran an ad campaign in conjunction with Dr. Howard J. Crumb in 1941, advocating for a donut-reducing diet, which, despite how it sounds, does not advocate for reducing the number of donuts you eat. It was actually telling people that eating more donuts would help them lose weight. And before you scoff at how little people knew about diet in the 1940s, I also want to point out that when I googled donut diet, I actually got a lot of hits from around 2016. And although I certainly don't advocate any sort of donut diet, I really appreciate that the DCA was able to get someone named Dr. Crumb to endorse their donut diet. Anyway, in 1951, the DCA announced a new type of donut to increase their fall sales, the sweet cider donut. And it must have been a success since people are still buying the donut to this day. So I really wanted to make sure my apple cider donuts were as authentic as possible, so Jeremy and I took a trip to a pick-your-own apple orchard in the area to go apple picking, and to buy some fresh from the farm apple cider. We got some delicious apples and some cider to bring home with us. So first we're going to boil the cider. We're going to take 3 cups of regular apple cider and boil it down until it reaches about 1 cup in volume. We're boiling out the water and leaving all the flavor molecules so that the amount of flavor that existed in 3 cups of cider will now exist in 1 cup of cider. So we're going to mix 1 cup of sugar, regular granulated sugar, with 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon, cinnamon. Next, let's get started on actually making our dough. So we're going to combine our flour, brown sugar, baking powder, salt, baking soda, nutmeg, and more cinnamon. So now let's mix the wet ingredients. First, we'll take our 1 cup of cider that we've reduced from 3 cups. Add 2 eggs that we've just lightly beaten. 6 tablespoons of butter that has been melted and cooled a bit. And we'll just whisk those together really quickly. All right, let's figure out what the next step is. Now let's bring back the dry ingredients. And we're gonna just pour this in. Whisk is not the right tool for this job. All right, that's looking pretty good. So now we just need to refrigerate this for about an hour. Right now it's a little too liquidy to roll out, so if we chill it, the viscosity will increase and we'll be able to roll it out and cut it out into shape. All right, let's just lightly flour this surface. And I'm just doing it on this baking sheet so that I can move it around a little bit easier. And we'll take half of our dough that's been chilling for about 40 minutes and put it on here. I'm gonna add just a little bit more flour on top so it doesn't stick to my rolling pin. And let's roll it out. And we're aiming for about a 1/2 inch thick. Let's go ahead and flip this over if possible. That looks like it could be a 1/2 inch thick. Then I'm just gonna take 2 cookie cutters, one big one small one, to make a donut shape, and cut out some donuts from this. And today we have a special guest with us, my husband Jeremy, to help us with the frying. Now this fryer was the first thing that Jeremy put on our wedding registry, so we're always excited to get to use it. So we're gonna take our pre-cut donuts, drop them into the fryer, fry them for 1 minute on each side, and then drain them on a rack. Once they're cool enough to touch, we'll toss them in some cinnamon sugar. So these are looking pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited to eat them now.
So what tips do you have for people that are trying to fry in a deep fryer at home?
So for one, you gotta realize that the donuts actually lower the temperature of the oil just by being cooler, and so you always wanna make sure that the temperature gets back up in between batches. And it's best to let the donuts sort of dry off on a paper towel. You don't want to get that oil everywhere, but you also don't want the donuts to get soggy by sitting in their own oil. So it's best to put the rack over top the paper towels so that you get them nice and crisp afterwards.
Yeah, and these look excellent. So our donuts are fresh from the fryer, and it's time for us to taste them. One second, I gotta take my settings out. All right, now let's try them.
Crisp on the outside, soft on the inside. Kind of reminds me of a churro.
Yeah. The crispness on the outside is so nice.
Really what's missing now is a nice glass of milk or coffee to go with this.
Or cider. So we got donuts, and we got our donut holes. Both excellent. And we fried them really nicely. Good job.
Thank you. Did you taste the apple cider?
Not really. I do think it's a solid donut. I think I would definitely make this donut again. But next time maybe we add more cider, or maybe we do like 6 cups of cider boiled down to 1 cup rather than 3 cups boiled down to 1 cup.
Yeah, there's definitely something not that a normal donut has here, but I don't think I could pin it as apple cider. Still really good.
I mean, either way, I'm pretty happy with them. Like, they feel like fall. Maybe I don't get that. Maybe they're not supposed to taste like apple cider. I don't know. But they definitely taste like a fall donut. And there's a lot of baked apple cider donut recipes on the internet, and I'm really glad that we went with a fried donut because that crisp just makes everything.
Real nice.
Don't know if you guys can hear it, but... And actually, you know me. I'm not a huge fan of cake donuts in general. I much prefer yeasted donuts. But these are a really good treat. And I think the inside is nice and fluffy. Not as fluffy as, as the monkey bread we made, but really nice for a donut texture. It's not too dense, it's not too dry or crumbly, and the cinnamon and sugar is really nice. But I do have to say that these do not seem especially vampiric. So I whipped up a little bit of an apple cider glaze to really pump up the vampireness. So let's go get that. So I've just whipped up this glaze with a little bit of apple cider and a lot of powdered sugar and like 10 drops of red food coloring. But let's take our donut and just give it a drizzle. I was hoping this would look like blood, but it looks more like a unicorn donut or something. Vampiric apple cider donut.
Sweet.
It's almost like a fruitiness. I don't know if that's the apple cider that's coming through.
I mean, I don't think it's necessary, but it's fun and it adds a little pop of something, so.
Does it look like a vampire snack?
No.
Well, I have to say that this was a success. And it was a perfect project for a brisk fall day. The donuts were soft and moist with an amazing crunch on the outside. Definitely worth bringing the fryer out for. Next time I think I would try to punch up the apple flavor a little bit more to just take these to the next level. But as they are, I think they would probably please almost any palate, even those with a taste for blood. I think the Donut Corporation of America was onto something when they introduced these in 1951, although they probably lose points for promoting a donut diet, so... Well, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed eating these delicious donuts, and I'm curious, which team are you on? Apple cider donut or pumpkin spice everything? Leave me a comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.